But you know, I mean, hardware. Okay, I mean, I hear what you're saying. If you're buying the $500 graphics card just for Minecraft, well, maybe that's a little bit much. But if you're gonna play other games with reflections, maybe that's okay. You know, however, I've got the 3DS that I bought, and I've only got like 4 games for it, and I don't really have any motivation to buy any more games for it. 1660 Super is 320 in my local currency, ridiculous. It's new technology, however. Give it a few years, it'll get cheaper. Or maybe PC gamers are just whales. Like, maybe they know what PC gamers are like. Not that, you know, I fit the stereotype that I'm suggesting. $550 for the 2060S, yeah. But that's more or less the most advanced thing in the computer, right? Just your graphics card. I guess you could splash out for a fancy screen. I have a couple of 2TB SSD drives. How much is a 2TB solid state drive? I am looking forward to that part too, solid state drives. When I finally upgrade this old computer. Oh, and VR. Spend a few thousand on VR goggle. I've drifted off center, haven't I? I have. Guess it doesn't matter. Harvest says, I'm at the stage where there's no real incremental upgrade for me, bar spending 300 on GPU, only real upgrade is a new system. Yeah. Yeah. When I upgrade, I will have to upgrade the whole thing. Let me go forward and not backwards. Man, this is so long. Look at this thing. Harvest says, and there's no real point to upgrading unless I really want to 60 frames per second and heavily modded Skyrim. Yeah, which means running Windows, which is big negative. So GPU upgrade is not worth it. But that pull to purchase tech is strong. I was just thinking, but they won't do it. What if every game has a low graphics mode? What if every game has like a year 2000 graphics mode with blocky graphics and like not even bump mapping? Because all these modern games, they don't need the fancy graphics. The gameplay is just the gameplay, you know what I mean? Exception being Minecraft, where even the low graphics mode takes a lot of processing power. It'll be like the new pixel art. The new pixel art is year 2000 polygons. How is this? That's the point of modded Skyrim, to make it as detailed as possible. But what if you do it the opposite way and make it as less detailed as possible? But they won't do it because they want to sell more hardware. They want to make more money. Like, nobody's gonna serve a demographic that wants to spend less money. Because nobody makes money. I mean, I don't know what else to say. That. And then that. There should be like LD remixes. Instead of high definition remixes, there's low definition remixes. What they call it, demakes. People do demakes, which is like a lo-fi version of a game. But jokes aside, like the interesting part would be like, which game actually can't be demade? Because it's the game mechanics that are complicated and require processing and not the graphics. You see what I mean? Like, now that we're on this topic, which game cannot be demade? Minecraft is one of them. Because the problem with Minecraft is that there's so many blocks and every single block can be changed. One, two, three, four, five. I guess games like City Skylines. I was gonna say like the other SimCities too, but they kind of ruined the franchise. Like a game like City Skylines, even with potato graphics, eventually there's just so many things in your city that your computer can't process all of them anymore. So it's not just like, it's not just looking pretty, it's actually the game mechanics are too complicated. Civ games, they require CPU if I recall, not GPU. So, Civ games, do they? I mean, okay, like when you have like a giant map, when you play on the biggest map setting with the maximum number of CPU or like opponents, the turns start to take several minutes. It takes several minutes to process each turn. So for that part, yes, definitely it's CPU limited. Oh, I don't want to push that far that way. Yeah, Civ game, especially big Civ games. With like 20 players. Put that to there. I do need to go back and put the diagonal in. Maybe I'll do it later. When I come back. But you know, a game like Crisis, like the meme, does your computer run Crisis? That's just graphics, right? Like, if it weren't for the graphics, anybody could run Crisis. Is that true or is that not true? Like, how complicated is the AI, like the enemy AI? Oops. Oh, it's water again. I'm just gonna sponge this out. Let me see. Sponge, sponge, sponge. There's more behind there. Some games do have decent potato modes, which is like low graphics modes. Destiny? Destiny 2. I think I said this earlier. Like this computer, which is quite old, runs Destiny 2 quite well. But there are a lot of ways in that game to reduce the graphics load without compromising the gameplay. So that's cool. That goes to there. Oh hey, did you ever play Destiny 2, Harbour? We got it for free, and you said you never played it. I did play it eventually. It's a pretty generic shooter. So if you really like that sort of thing, I guess you should play it. No, never did. Well, I mean, I wouldn't recommend you going out of your way to play it. It's a solid shooter that doesn't really do anything new. So there's that. I mean, the locations are kind of interesting, but then you can just look up screenshots. And you'll see everything you need to see, so... I don't know, man. Generic shooters. How is this not a shooter game anymore? UT 2004 was the last one I seriously played. Well, like modern shooters, and by modern I mean right now, modern shooters tend to be less demanding, I think. I mean, I played through the campaign of Destiny 2, and it's kind of like, I feel like a tourist, just like going in, looking at the scenery, occasionally pointing and clicking at enemies. I mean, there are like high-level raids and like more difficult in-game stuff, sure, but that's only for people who want to grind. One, two, three, four, five. Which, on another tangent, this computer remarkably also runs Fallout 76, but not very well. The problem with 76 is that it's more of a shooter and less of an RPG. I mean, they were heading that way with Fallout 3 onwards, but there was always VATS, right? There was always the ability to just kind of pause time and then look at the numbers and use the VATS system. Tech assisted. I forget what the S thing is. So it was kind of like the option to turn on turn-based combat in a way. But because 76 is multiplayer and you're playing on a server, you can't like stop time on the server. So they basically took out VATS. I mean, there's still VATS, but it's real time. And you don't get time to just think about things. So it becomes a lot more like a shooter and a lot less like an RPG. Because you have to basically make all your decisions in real time. Aim and shoot in real time. Which makes Fallout 76 less interesting in my opinion. Because then it becomes just point and click, and your crappy weapons are not accurate enough to hit anything. Whereas with VATS, you could do it like a math game, right? You can like just math out your probabilities in VATS. Or you can play action. You can play a point and click and shoot. In Fallout 3, for New Vegas. Skyrim doesn't have that, but I guess it's it's more melee, like fewer enemies are ranged attackers. Also, there's a lot of lag. Well, especially for me in Fallout 76, because one, my computer is old, and so there's the graphics lag, and then it's also online, so there's the internet lag. So then you're playing a real-time shooter, but with the Fallout engine, which is not that well optimized. So it's just not very good. It's just laggy. Okay, my computer's overheating, and it is after 420. So let me end the stream and the video here pretty much. And then when we come back next week... Oh crap. When we come back next week, I continue punching dirt and building up branch 1.5 here. Alright, see you next video.